Bottom line with today's episode is we had three choices. Choice number one, I don't do my hair and look like a bit of a hobo. Choice number two, I don't update the background in my little box behind me. And even though we're in the Conference National, it still says Conference North. Or option three was delay the episode for a day. So hopefully you'll all agree that the hair obviously had to be the thing that slipped. And I would appreciate if you didn't pick on me in the comments. You know, we can't all look perfect all the time. It's important to show myself as human sometimes. Hello and welcome to part 11 of the Bolton battle. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have the first game in our Conference National season away against Farnborough. We have many transfers to get through, so we're only going to have one live com today and we need to get straight into these transfers as well. In fact, we're not getting straight into them. The first thing I want to show you, look at all this money we've got. We've got over £1 million in the bank. We've sold something like 6,000 or 7,000 season tickets. We've spent nearly £100,000 on transfers. But because of the size of the ground, we just have money coming in. Ignore the projection. Projection was bad last summer. I'm hoping it's just broken because we're on an upward direction. We have maxed out our wage budget now, though, so the transfers are probably just about to stop. Transfers, we have many. I'm not going to go through them all one by one. I'm going to pick out a couple of key ones and introduce them to you as they enter the first team. As you can see, a few players did leave the club. Not many of them familiar faces. Ron Rees, who I fell out with, he's gone. Liam Swan has also gone. No one else really significant. Gavin Stewart was the captain last season, but didn't actually... he played 4 games. He wasn't very good. We signed lots of new midfielders this summer, so he's gone off to our fellow Conference National rivals, Milton Keynes Dons. And we did spend a little bit of money. I'm going to show you the players we spent significant money on because I think they're both very good signings. Lee Martin comes in from Macclesfield. You might remember him from the playoff games. He's a defensive midfielder or central midfielder. We'll obviously be playing him in central midfield because we don't use defensive midfield. He's probably going to play in that position. He's been playing for Macclesfield in the Conference North for the last few years. Had a very good season last year, and was one of Macclesfield's standout players. Another one of their standout players in their midfield was Jordan Allen, who I think scored against us in the playoff semi-final. Was it the semi-final we played them in, or the final? I can't even remember. He certainly scored against us at some point. He's a more attacking central midfield player, probably going to play as the advanced playmaker, with us moving Hodgson over to box, which you'll see in a minute. But Jordan Allen, only 21, again, had a very, very good season for Macclesfield last year. Ran Hodgson pretty close as the Conference North Player of the Year. 7 goals, 7 assists, 8 man of the match. We've basically taken Macclesfield's midfield from them, and I think they're going to serve us well in this higher division. So as you can see, they both come straight into the central midfield, with Tony Hodgson moving over to become a box-to-box midfielder, which I think he's quite capable of doing. If we have a look at all his bits and bobs, just needs a bit more balance. But, you know, that'll come with time. He's still only 21. Importantly, we have an entirely new back four and goalkeeper. It won't always be a new back four. Paul Johnson is still at the club, will still be our first choice right back, but he's currently injured. He's probably, if not the best player at the club, the one with the highest potential. And I would expect another good season out of him. 23 assists last year from right back. Still nuts. But we'll start with the keeper. New guy in goal, Aaron Egito. Eagle-eyed amongst you, or Egito maybe, might recognise that name because he's the first of several former Manchester City players who's arrived at Bolton this summer. He was barely there, along with my dad. He did a couple of years there, never actually got anywhere near the first team, probably never even made it out the under-18s, because I don't remember him. Daddy certainly doesn't remember him. But he's been in around the sort of Conference North-South level for a little while now. Dropped down a division last year, which not ideal. But he's a heck of a lot better than any other option that we could find. He's still only 21. As you can see, considerably better than Jordan Leach. Plus he's unsporting, which is always a positive in a goalkeeper. I quite like the idea of having a cheating goalkeeper. It just sounds fun. He's got a Welsh under-21 cap as well, so he's going to be our goalkeeper for this season. We have a backup right back in the shape of Andrew Freeman, who can play right back or left back. He comes in on a free transfer from Doncaster. Again, lots of experience, nearly 100 games in Conference North and South and National League. So he's going to be a very handy squad player to have around, giving us cover at right back and left back. Alan Foley, 29-year-old guy, comes in as our new left back, and he has plenty of Football League experience. I mean, going back pretty much his entire career, 10, 12 years. Yes, it's only 100 games, and mainly when he played a lot of football, it was on loan in this division now. But at least that shows his experience in this division. And he's not dropped out of sort of League 1, League 2 level for 5 years now, and played nearly 50 games in that time. Yeah, they've not been great, but I'd like to think he's going to be a perfectly adequate left back for us. He's 29, so he's not going to be a long-term solution. But again, best left back we could find in the circumstances, and hopefully will prove to be a good addition to the squad. Importantly, you can see we've gone back to this system as well. None of this free at the back stuff, even though it was what we used to do when we won. So if we have a bad start, we will go free at the back. But for now, we're going back to this system because I've got 3 really good central midfielders. We also have lots of depth at centre-back as well, which is why Chris Fletcher can't even get in the side now. But Peter Collins is another of our new signings, 28-year-old, again, a bit more experience coming into the squad. He's come in on a free transfer from Scunthorpe, who were down in the Conference North with us last season. But again, bags of experience, Conference North, Conference National, over 300 career games, including a little bit of Football League experience as well. So hopefully not going to let us down. And he is going to be alongside George Grayson, who's 28 years old. Again, Football League experience. Look at this. But I get, most of his experience comes in the National League for FC United, who I imagine are quite big rivals of ours now. But for the last 4 years, he's been in League 2, League 1, played 20, 25 games in that time. So you would expect him to be able to come in and have quite a good season in the Conference National. Andre Glover is just coming back from injury, which is why he's not playing today as the attacking midfielder. He's another one. He's probably one of our better players. Sean Quinn has just come in on loan from Hull, though, so he's going to get the nod today. 19 years old, never played a game anywhere. Might be good, might be rubbish, but it's nice to have a bit of strength and depth in that position. Chris Priest is obviously still around. We're expecting another good season from him. 16 goals in 38 games in the league last season, but we all know that doesn't tell the whole story, because if we click in on him, we can see he actually got 29 goals when you take in all those cup goals as well. So hopefully, big year from him. Going to be playing as the poacher, because this guy has arrived. Chris Abbott, 25-year-old target man, who comes in. Again, he's another one with a little bit of Football League experience. He's only played 9 games in his career and never scored a goal. But he's never dropped this low either. He's old enough now. What did I say? 25? Yeah, 25 years old. He's probably, hopefully, coming in knowing this is his last chance to make it in football. He didn't make it at Leeds in the Championship, went out on loan to Salford and didn't really impress there. Went on a free transfer to Chesterfield, never made it into their team. Probably scuppered a little bit by them getting promoted. He might have got a game or two if they'd have stayed in League 2. But he joins us on not a lot of money. He might be one of the non-contract boys, in fact. Oh, no, he's actually on £800 a week. Oh, God, he could be the one who bankrupts us. And other than that, familiar faces on the bench. We know Jordan Leach, Chris Fletcher, Colin Lamb and Andre Glover. And this lad has just come in on loan in case Abbott is a bit of a disaster. He comes in on loan from Shrewsbury, only 18. He's been on loan at Bolton before, the season before I arrived, and got 7 goals in 10 games, so that caught my eye straight away. Went back to Shrewsbury last year and didn't break into their team. He's still only 18 though, so good finishing, nice and quick, gives us a slightly different option if either of them need replacing at any point. So, without further ado, let's get into our first game of the season. Unfortunately, and we had this a little bit in the early days of Father's career, because we signed so many players over the summer, this tactic that we were fluid with last year has gone down to competent on familiarity, because it's basically an entirely new squad. So it's going to take us a little while to get used to playing our way again. I am going to try and persist with this formation, at least for the first couple of months of the season. If it's really not going well by then, we will go back to the 3 at the back. But I just don't want it to be how we do things long term, mainly because I really want this midfield 3 to work. I think it has the potential to be the best midfield in this division. But we shall have to see, I guess. We might be about to see just how much of a gulf in ability there is between the Conference National and the Conference North. Just like my dad found out with Boston all those years ago when he came up all full of hope and excited and talking you through all the brilliant new players he'd signed, and then got relegated again straight away that season. So we shall have to see, I guess, but I have high hopes, particularly for that midfield. And if these new signings in defence can sort out our leakiness at the back, and Priest can keep scoring goals with the new guys around him as well, then I see a mid-table finish in our future. But we'll have to wait and see, I guess. We'll learn a lot today, playing against a team who are a bit more established at this level than we are, and passing it around us for fun, but luckily just sort of turning the ball wide at the last minute. Right, so we have a corner, a Hodgson corner. We scored a lot of goals from these last season. I thought we'd just scored there, but I guess that's hit the side netting. Hodgson with another corner. Abbott wins the ball back, but it doesn't go anywhere useful, and Freeman picks it up. And all has gone quiet again. So, 20 minutes in. We're about even for possession, about even for chances. We've had one more shot. Equal on shots, one more on target, but they've had a clear-cut chance, which obviously we watched them miss. But we're not being outplayed yet, he says, just as they completely outplay us and score the first goal of the season. That was nice. Let's see this in 3D, because, we all wanted to see goals today. We didn't necessarily want to see them scored against us. But if we learned anything last year, it doesn't matter how many goals teams score against us. We've got the ability to go and score 5 more than them. And we did it plenty of times last year. Potential offside there, and Agito in goal maybe should have done better. He's going to need a new name, by the way, because I'm not going to learn to say his name right at any point. I don't want to have to make him Egg. But at the moment, I don't see any other alternative. Collins is in. I can't even remember who Collins is. I think he's one of the new centre-backs. He's got long hair and a very old man face. But Hodgson with the corner. Is this the first of hopefully many assists for him? I think Grayson gets to flick on. Collins turns it in. That's how 2 new centre-backs combining. We're back in the game. I nearly hiccuped there. Hiccuped in excitement. That's what scoring your first goal in the Conference National does to a man. Gives you the hiccups. Or it could be all the Coke Zero that I've been drinking before the match started. How can they score in the middle of the sponsored segment? For goodness sake. Trying to flog your can of pop. Even though I'm not getting anything for it yet. And they go and score. I mean, again, suspicions are offside. This Nottage fella, he's sort of sniffing around behind. I wonder if it's because we've got 2 slightly older players back there. Maybe he's just sniffing around behind us and beating us for pace. Should we do something a little bit tactical? I know it's not really my style, but I'm thinking maybe switch one of these lads to cover. Who's the quickest? Just because we've seen him getting behind us twice. Right, he's slow. Might spot a problem here. He's also slow. Okay. I might have identified the issue with the new signings. Let's make him cover and him a stopper. And just see if that stops Nottage getting in behind us. Because we're clearly not going to catch him in an offside trap at any point. We had 2 attempts there and failed both times. So let's stop messing around with that nonsense and just try and stop him getting in behind us in the first place. I suppose the other option would be to drop our defence slightly deeper. But it all sounds a bit complicated for me. Right, Farnborough with a corner. Nottage hits the post now. And we really do need to get ourselves back into this game. We're slowly running out of time. Nottage is in again. Agito with a good save. And Abbott looked like he'd collected the ball and turned nicely, but probably punched the man in the face as he did it. Right, Abbott's going to come off. Not been particularly impressed with him at all. And we're going to put Priest back to his more natural target man and stick Mitchell up as a poster to a poacher to hopefully use his pace, and we're going to bring Andre Glover on as well for Sean Quinn, just because we know how good Andre Glover can be in that attacking midfielder position. So hopefully, freshening things up a little bit up front, we might be able to just nick an equaliser. Why have they got a number 79? I mean, that's just stupid. Nottage is in again, and Agito with a good save. I mean, I don't know if it's a good goalkeeping performance or what. We're masking slightly the fact they've had 5 clear-cut chances and we've not had any. They are absolutely tearing us apart. Nottage is in again. That's clear-cut chance number 6. And Glover with a chance to break. I can't say words today. This isn't good. Glover, cross it. He does to Mitchell. Oh, and I thought he was going to be in to score with his first touch in a Bolton shirt, except it's not because he's already got 7 goals in 10 games for us. I remember. I just said that a minute ago. Right, Foley's neither of the fullbacks are having good games. It's not going to be hard for Johnson to get back into this team at this rate. Do we go? I mean, it's a bit late to go free at the back, isn't it? I think I'm just going to leave well alone. And hopefully we'll just find a way to get back into it. I mean, losing by 1 goal on the first day, not a disaster. Gifting a team 6 clear-cut chances when we don't get any of our own, much closer to disaster territory. If we can nick an equaliser here, it's just going to paper over all those cracks, and we don't need to care. So, Hodgson, I mean, that's some lovely passing there. Foley with the chance to cross now. Hodgson, back to Grayson. Why is he doing that? Hodgson, you should be attacking. We know you're good at it. Martin, out to Foley. Crosses, Mitchell's in, and we have equalised. It's his first goal of this season. Mr. Prolific, from when he was here on loan before, picks up an equaliser with 5 minutes to go. Can we nick a first day win? I mean, it will be one of the muggings of the century if we do. Martin with a lovely ball across to Foley, who just sticks it. I mean, either Priest or Mitchell could finish that. Glover's coming in as well. It's a beautiful cross, and all 3 of them are just lining up to finish. And now might be the time to go free at the back. But we're attacking again, and it's Freeman. Can he beat his man? He can. Into Priest. Priest brings it down brilliantly. It's into Foley again, who crosses to Mitchell again, and he scored again. It's 3-2. I mean, that was from the kickoff. You're not supposed to score from the kickoff. That's against the rules of Football Manager. Foley's controlled that brilliantly. The cross is nowhere near as good this time, but Mitchell finds himself a little bit of space. Have we got a fox in the box? I think he should link back to me now I've mentioned him. Reciprocation and all that. But, this is getting exciting now. Devlin, whoever he is in. And Nottage again shooting from range. Right, hold on. We've got Chris Fletcher on the bench. Let's try and go a bit more defensive. We're going to take Hodgson off, which would have been unthinkable last year. And we're just going to do this. And we're going to make you the covering man. Because I think you're hopefully a little bit quick. I know Fletcher's supposed to be covering because he can actually run. So there's a shout for Fletcher being in the team a bit more often because he can actually run. So he's going to go cover. You're just going to be a normal defender. How did we do this last year? In fact, we've got the system here. Where is it? That's what we're trying to achieve. That all looks correct. Yeah, that's what we want to do. Except we want to do a slight change to it because we just want to control. We just want to not let them back into the game. We've only got 2 minutes to survive with a nice opening day mugging, which is what we all want. And before the change has even gone in, they're going to score again, and Devlin is in. He must have been offside, surely. How do we cancel those changes? I mean, how was that man not offside there? All 3 of these goals have been a little bit suspect. I mean, I think they're both offside there. Oh, there better be a press conference after this match. I've got words to say. This whole substitution is going to make me look a little bit silly now, isn't it? And we've got one of those highlights where the celebration goes on forever, and now they're going to score, and everyone's going to say, oh, you can imagine the phone-ins. Why did he take Hodgson off for Fletcher just after we conceded the equaliser? He's an idiot. What does he know? He's out of his depth. Yeah, all right, the game made me do it. Won't happen again. Last time I make a tactical change. So, at the end of the first game of the season, we are... Where are we? 11th. To be honest, if we finish there, I'm happy. Mitchell's top scorer in the league. Foley's top assist maker. I'm not impressed we've not got anyone in this little thing here. But other than that, that's a pretty good day's work, apart from a little bit sloppy at the end there. Did we get a press conference so we can have a moan about the linesman? Probably not. We don't get them very often at this level. No. Well, that's a bit of a shame. In England news, by the way, Ryan Shawcross was made England manager when my dad retired. And Oliver Norwood is now Ipswich manager. So I guess that's the end of fun for Ipswich. Although Norwood has never been sacked. It's his third job in management. We might have a look at him in a future episode. But I've gone on a little bit today. You've seen us play a game. You've met some of the new signings. And we will be back tomorrow with probably something late September, early October. So I'm going to play a chunk of the first few games just to try and get used to the system and the new way of playing and make sure we're not completely rubbish. So if you've enjoyed today's episode, make sure you pop a like on there for me, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and thank you very much for watching.